Trust to Disrupt, the podcast where visionary entrepreneurs, artists, creators, Web3 and crypto minds share visionary conversations and disruptive success stories. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. We're in the new format here. We're switching roles, roasting the host if you want of the podcast. And I have my beautiful guest, Veit Alex, who is taking the role in hitting me up with questions that I don't know yet. And if you want to find his episode that we did, look for Veit Alex. And he is a model, a stylist, a makeup artist, a stage presenter, and he gives workshops. So multi-talented. And his newest venture, which I love a lot, he is a double, an impersonator of the famous German singer Helene Fischer. So now you know a lot. Hope you got curious. Go check out his episode. And now I'm handing over to him. He is the host now. So I have no idea what he's going to ask.
Let's roast. I have a very horrible question for you. Maybe it's horrible. What's your favorite song of Helene Fischer?
Oh my God. I was afraid that you were going to ask that because for her music, I must admit, is not really what I like. I do appreciate her as an artist and as an entrepreneur because what she has achieved is incredible. But I must say the style of the music that she does is like completely not what I listen to. So here's the honest confession. I don't like the songs, but I admire her for the artist and for the businesswoman that she is.
Okay, you have to come to one of my shows and to get a new twist.
Okay, I'll put that on my list.
Perfectly. What's your favorite color, Judith? You wear purple.
I do. For everyone who cannot see and is just listening, I do. And my nails do match, by the way, which I also love. So I do love purple, but favorite color would more be like anything green, turquoise-ish, like anything going into the direction of the ocean, if you want. And the Tiffany turquoise, I love that.
Nice. I love it. And Judith, I have to be honest, today, in the end of the day, you will that. So, what would you like to eat as your last meal?
Ooh, I've never had that question. What would I love to eat on my last day? I love chocolate. So there has to be some sort of chocolate, definitely.
Yes.
Maybe something like these mini cakes that have liquid hot chocolate in the middle, like something like
Oh,
that.
yes. Like a
Ooh,
souffle.
yeah, something like that. And what else would I love? I also love the Spanish churros, the fried kind of things.
Yes. So it has to be sweet.
Yes, and I'm looking for savory. What else would I want? Oh, probably I love, like from Indian food, samosas. It's fried as well. I'm loving fried things, kind of. But I love it filled with veggies. So that will
So,
be probably,
so it has to be fried and a lot of chocolate.
that's a good summary.
Perfectly. Um, if you could say I can meet one designer, which one you prefer?
There's so many, it has to be colorful. So let me see what kind of a choice that brings up. I must admit, I don't remember the name. When I was traveling in India last year, at the end, we went to a very large mall that had a lot of also international brands. And I was in front of a window of a designer name that I had never seen. Maybe it was from India. But the
Okay,
designs were a mix of what you would maybe consider traditional Indian style, but in a very modern fashion way. So it was soft, silky materials overall, very feminine, flowing materials, and at the same time, a lot colorful, like very bright. So
that sounds amazing.
that would be a type of style, but I cannot recall the name of the designer, to be honest. Yeah.
It's okay. If you get it, you will write it in the comments.
Yeah, I will.
Perfectly. Um, you asked me about which guest I would see or hear in your podcast. What would your favorite guest?
I definitely would want to go for Elon Musk, and I know one day I'm going to have him on here. I tell you why. I tell you why. I love the guy for his boldness in innovation and disruption. And that is a quality that I appreciate a lot. Is there some sort, and also there is a courageous element in the way that he moves.
Yeah.
Do I think that everything that he says and everything that he does, I would do the same way? No. But I absolutely appreciate that he creates a lot of disruption that we need. So his actions and his ideas, a lot of times, it's like he's shaking up things. And by his boldness, and sometimes even in the way that you feel like, oh my freaking goodness, right? It is opening up the potential for something new.
Yes.
So I would definitely love to have a chat with him of understanding how he works. Like, how is his brain working? How does he get to these ideas and insights of things that have not existed before? That is what I find fascinating,
Yes.
right?
I know what you mean.
And that is, I love people who have the ability to see things that don't exist yet. And that is what I
Yeah.
find very, very fascinating.
That's interesting, and I get what you mean. So I love it. Um, so you said when we talked about my modding team in the last podcast, um, that you had something special in the age of 7 years. Can you tell me more about this? Because I thought a lot of guys have to hear about this.
Definitely. Yes. Part of my experience in this life is actually it's sexual abuse for like 3 years when I was a child. And being aware of when I'm sharing about this, that for a lot of people, this is a very sensitive topic, right? And a lot of times when I talk about it, I see the reaction of people, like, oh my goodness, like, oh, I feel so sorry for you, which I understand and I can appreciate. And at the same time, so I got traumatized in a way that I forgot about it. Like, it was hidden in subconscious for protection, a good thing as well, in a way. And I remembered 4.5 years ago, all the memory came back, right? So it is possible. And why
So
I share about it publicly is to help people understand that the biggest adversity that we experience, like the worst things that we experience, they hold your biggest power, right? So in the sense for me, and they also hold your purpose. You find in the most horrible thing that you have experienced gives you your why, in the sense of that this is something that you deeply care about and that you want other people to not experience.
so would you like to say it's better for you that you remembered that time, or is it better if you don't know this and you feel good?
I'm appreciating that I remember it, as uncomfortable as it was to acknowledge it and to be like, oh, this is part of the reality of the past. Yet it helped me to understand who I am. I was running through life, never understanding why so many things in my life were the way they were, because logically it all did not make sense. And so for me, my self-perception was, I don't make sense. So I was like, where am I supposed to be in the world? Who am I supposed to be if I cannot understand who I am? And through that, it unlocked a lot of my strength for me. It unlocked how much strength I hold. One of my strengths when I'm working with clients is to hold the space for their darkness, if you want. I'm very comfortable and at ease in walking in difficult situations, whether that is personal experiences that are emotionally challenging, or it was the same when I was in a corporate job. They always put me in the most stressful, most challenging projects that were kind of like, this is going to go down the drain, it's going to fail, but we need somebody who can pull it back up. So they put me there because I have this ability, for one part, because of that, that I can stand in the middle of a chaos and be calm and see the
Yes.
solutions and help everyone else to come back up. So I built a lot of skill set from that. And that is the overall message I always give people as well. Whatever it is that you experience, that you feel like, oh my goodness, either I feel shamed or I don't want to look at it, or it's horrible. Yes, but looking at it, at the depth of it, gives you your power. It tells you how strong you are and what you can do with that for yourself and for other people. So this is why I'm also sharing about the story. It's not on the headline of every piece of
So,
content, but it definitely has a share.
so take a good energy from something that is bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and if we talk about a positive and a good moment, I love to celebrate Christmas and all about this. How you celebrate Christmas?
That's a very small event if you want. I am like the Christmas Eve day, which here in Germany is the 24th of the main day. My husband and I have established like a ritual that it's just the two of us. And we usually cook a very nice dinner for ourselves and have like a glass of wine if we want to, and be just with ourselves. Sometimes we already start like reflecting the year on that. So it's a very, very private event. And both of us do have very small family groups if you want. So the 25th and the 26th, we go visit some people, but it's really 2-3 stops, have some conversations, and then we're kind of out of it again. So the major part for me and for us, if you want, is really the 24th, and having this private moment in celebrating that the year's coming to an end and celebrating time that we have together for ourselves.
But you wear something special for that day and put some hair and makeup, or it's just a normal day only with a good glass of wine and a good meal.
Now we do dress up a bit, yeah, definitely. So I'm wearing usually a nice dress, and my husband also puts on something nice, so we feel good, and put some decoration on the table that we usually would not. But yeah, that is how we do that.
Nice. And I have one special last question. Um, do people get a wrong impression of you sometimes? Cause you're such a modern, smart woman. You're an idol in business. You're a speaker. You was a designer. You're good people to to do a good marketing for you yourself, your company, and yeah, is it sometimes that they get you wrong?
Yes, it is. That's the short answer to it, but I'm happy to say a few things about it. And I love the question because this is multifaceted in a way as well. So, what one breaking point, if you want, right, is sometimes really people come to me, it's like, I'm so fascinated by watching your content, but I have no clue what you do. So that is really, it's like, I can't stop following, so I have to keep reading or watching the video, but I can't understand what it is that you do. But it's fascinating, so I have to come back. So that is definitely something on the improvement of marketing. And, this is evolving and it has evolved a lot. And the thing is, the other sometimes confusing element for people is like, I mean, you have all your different business units if you want, right? For me, it is, especially in the first 3 years of my business, being a coach and a consultant and all these things, I think I shifted my niche every 3 to 4 months. So every 3 to 4 months, my marketing shifted to like, I was a spiritual life coach. Then I was a business consultant. Then I was, and it shifted and shifted and people couldn't keep up, like obviously. And for a while, I really felt bad about it. I'm like, oh no, I suck at marketing, it's so bad. But then I was like, no, I'm allowing myself the evolution. And where I am today, I can say, looking backwards, I needed the fast track steps. I couldn't have stayed as the spiritual life coach for 5 years.
Yes.
It wouldn't have made sense, right? So now for the last year, probably, it's calming in a way that it is more grounded and there's evolution within, but the marketing gets clearer and also people start to get me more and start to understand this at a deeper level. That would be the business answer. On the personal note, I think now people don't get me wrong in the sense, but I know from the time when I was in corporate in my job, the role I had and the person I was at that time, I was a lot of times the only woman in a very male-dominated environment. And so I put out my masculine energy a lot, trying to be the better man as a woman in a way.
Of course.
And so a lot of times it happened to me when people then, they knew me only from the business environment, then from the job. And they thought like I was just like that tough person, very hard, very tough, very analytical, very strategic, which I can be, and it's part of me. But they didn't know the woman in me and the feminine part. And that is what they sometimes, when they met me, I'm like, you're different than what I thought you are. And like, yeah, that's probably because then I had not figured out how to be truly myself in there and be the feminine way in the more masculine role. Today, I would run the whole business or the whole role in there completely different. But 10 years ago, I wasn't at that point.
I mean, I know you from 2019. You start to create your own fashion brand. It's called UNJJ.
Right.
And you was when I turn around, maybe I will get it directly. Um, is it here? I knew I was wearing the shirt last week. There it is. Ah,
No,
I still have it here. It's
nice.
UNJJ. It's a blue shirt and it's customized for the perfect size. Uh, you don't create it for men, but it was the first way to find something that fits me from the land. Um, and I was wearing it on the event from you,
Yeah.
so in
And you look great.
2019. Thank you very much. And in the first moment when we get in contact, I thought, okay, that's a very business. The mindset of you is um very closed in the business and not so really creative. Am I the right people to 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 create something with you? And then I thought, okay, she's very smart. She's so lovely. I like her vibe when I met you the first time in real life, and not only by mail or a call. And then we worked together for the biggest German dating show. It's called First Day Hotel on Vox, and I took the shirts from you for all the service people there in the television show, and I loved to work with you because you're so professional, you're lovely, and you're always kind. Thank you very much to to call you a friend of mine.
Oh my God, I'm like, my heart is melting. Thank you so much for this reflection. I love hearing your thoughts and your impression from back then. And while I was listening, I'm like, it makes perfect sense because it was actually before I remembered what happened in my childhood. So at that point, I had been out of the corporate world. So you got a version of me that was not that hard anymore. But still, there was a good share of her in that. And that's
Yes,
the first perception probably that you saw. So thank you for sharing that and reflecting that back. I really appreciate that. And I love the collaboration with you. It was so inspiring. And being very honest, I'm confessing this here publicly now. When I reached out to you via email, because I was looking for influencers in the broadest sense for my launch event for that business back then, I found you online. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to email him. But honestly, I would have never thought that you reply because I was like, oh, so out of reach. It's never going to reply. And you
and now
did.
I'm
And
sitting here.
yes, and now we're having this conversation. So thank you so much for reading the email back then and replying
Of
and all
course.
the rest.
And there's a big point. Always believe in yourself and try to connect you with other people. Cause yeah, don't be shy, and you can have everything. You don't have to be afraid.
Let us finish the episode here with that because there's no better closing word. Thank you so much for doing this. I loved your questions. And
You're welcome.
everyone, check out the episode with Veit Alex where he is in the focus, and we'll see and hear each other on the next podcast episode, Trust to Disrupt. Thanks for listening. I hope you really feel inspired and you gain new perspectives for your own ventures to take action. Remember to subscribe to the podcast, download the episode, and share it with one visionary person who needs to also hear this. Also, please leave a 5-star review if that feels aligned on iTunes or on Spotify. That helps to distribute the podcast to more people and to have high caliber guests on for you to enjoy.